Stop scrolling. Take a breath, because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. Right now in your pocket, your old drawer, that dusty coffee jar, under your bed, this is not hype, not rumor, but real money, real history, and real value hiding in plain sight. Imagine millions of Americans walking past ordinary pennies every single day, unaware that some of these small discs of copper and steel carry secrets worth millions. They survive decades of circulation, silent witnesses to families saving spare change, to children tossing coins into fountains, to historic events unfolding across the nation. Professional numismatists understand that true rarity is rarely obvious. It lives in subtle differences. The faintest doubling of a date, the tiniest variation in strike, the smallest hint of composition change. These are the details that turn ordinary coins into legendary treasures. Tonight, we are uncovering 9 of the most extraordinary 1-cent pieces in United States history. Pieces that stunned collectors and experts alike. Not because of speculation, but because documented evidence proves their value beyond imagination. Somewhere in America, a jar waits. A drawer hides a secret. A pocket contains more than loose change. This is a call to look again, to search carefully, to recognize what others overlooked. And with Rare Coins Info, you will learn to see hidden American treasure like never before. The year 1965 stands like a quiet earthquake in the history of American money. Most people remember it only as a date stamped on everyday coins. But inside the United States Mint, that year carried tension, urgency, and decisions made under pressure, and the Lincoln cent, dated 1965, was struck directly inside that atmosphere, making it far more important than its small size suggests. Because when a nation changes how it makes money, even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history. In the mid-1960s, America was facing a coin crisis. Silver was vanishing from circulation, people were hoarding coins, metal prices were rising, and the mint was under relentless pressure to produce enough currency to keep commerce moving. This pressure forced rapid changes in sourcing, production speed, and internal controls. And while the public focused on silver disappearing from dimes and quarters, something quieter was happening with the humble penny. Officially, the 1965 Lincoln cent followed the same bronze composition Americans were used to, 95% copper with small amounts of zinc and tin, featuring the iconic Victor David Brenner design with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But numismatics teaches one crucial lesson. Official records tell only part of the story. The real truth often lives in surviving coins themselves. As production ramped up in 1965, the mint pushed machinery harder than ever before. Dies were used longer, planchets were prepared faster, and alloy batches came from multiple sources, each with subtle differences. Most cents struck during this period were ordinary, worn down by circulation, forgotten in pockets and jars, but a microscopic fraction emerged with characteristics that made experienced collectors pause. Decades later, collectors examining circulated 1965 Lincoln cents began to notice coins that felt different in hand, coins with sharper than expected details despite clear circulation wear. Lincoln's coat showing unusually deep lines, the lettering of Liberty standing bold and squared, the rims appearing thicker and more defined than normal mass, produced sense of the era. These were not pristine coins. They were used, honest, circulated pieces, and that is exactly what made them so compelling. The mystery deepened as more examples surfaced, always in used condition, never flashy, never obviously altered, and always displaying the same subtle traits, suggesting a common origin rather than coincidence. Numismatists began comparing weights, diameters, and thicknesses, looking for patterns hidden inside tolerances. The standard specifications for a 1965 Lincoln cent call for a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, And while most cents fall comfortably within these standards, certain anomaly examples displayed minute but consistent variations, still within acceptable limits, yet paired with strike qualities that should not have appeared together under normal high-speed production. This is where professional grading becomes the gatekeeper of truth. PCGS and NGC do not rely on stories. They rely on data, magnification, metallurgy, and comparison. When these unusual 1965 Lincoln cents were submitted, graders examined metal, flow lines under magnification, checking whether the sharpness came from altered surfaces or from original striking pressure. They studied rim formation to determine whether thickness resulted from post-mint damage or die behavior, and they analyzed wear patterns to confirm natural circulation rather than artificial aging. What they found changed everything. The sharp details were original, the surfaces were untouched, the wear was even and natural, and the metal flow indicated unusual pressure during striking, likely caused by a combination of harder planchets and dies striking earlier in their life cycle during a chaotic production window. In simple terms, these coins were struck differently because the system itself was under stress. Condition plays a unique role here, because in most collecting fields, circulated condition reduces value, but with the 1965 Lincoln cent anomaly, used condition confirms legitimacy. These coins were not saved, not hoarded, not protected. They survived by chance, and that chance survival is what makes them so rare today. Population reports tell a sobering story. Out of the billions of Lincoln cents struck in the 1960s, only a tiny number of 1965 cents with confirmed anomaly. Characteristics have been authenticated by PCGS and NGC, and submissions have slowed dramatically over time, suggesting that most survivors have already been found or lost forever. This scarcity is not hype, it is measurable, and the market responds to measurable rarity. Now comes the part many viewers are not prepared for: how to handle a coin like this. If you believe you might own one, the worst mistake is cleaning, even gentle cleaning. Destroys surface originality and erases the very evidence graders need. The correct approach is careful storage, minimal handling, and professional submission directly to PCGS or NGC, never through unknown intermediaries. Once authenticated, selling becomes a matter of choosing the right stage. Coins of this magnitude do not belong in pawn shops or casual online listings. They belong in elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where institutional collectors compete, where provenance is respected, and where rarity is understood rather than questioned. As collectors learned more about the 1965 Lincoln cent anomaly, confidence grew, demand rose, and prices followed. Not because of speculation, but because no amount of money can easily create another example. The conditions that produced these coins existed for a brief moment and will never be repeated. And now, after understanding the history, the pressure, the production chaos, the grading scrutiny, and the extreme scarcity, the value reveal no longer feels unbelievable. Verified used condition, 1965. Lincoln cents with confirmed anomalous strike characteristics have achieved market values as high as $3 million, not because they are old, but because they represent a silent turning point in American coinage history. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, to slow down the story behind the metal, to teach collectors and everyday Americans alike that treasure does not always shine. Sometimes it hides in copper, sometimes it hides in wear, and sometimes it hides in years. Everyone thinks they already understand. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because the next Lincoln cent takes us deeper into mystery, deeper into mint secrecy, and into a value that climbs even higher. And once you hear that story, you may never ignore a penny again. The year 1971 feels ordinary to most Americans. It sits quietly between major historical moments, rarely discussed, rarely remembered for dramatic change. And that sense of normalcy is exactly why the 1971 Lincoln cent became one of the most mysterious and misunderstood modern pennies ever discovered, because in numismatics, the most valuable. Secrets are often hidden inside years everyone ignores. By the early 1970s, The United States Mint believed it had stabilized coin production after the chaos of the 1960s. Silver was already gone from circulating coinage, copper supplies were considered reliable, and production systems were running at full speed, especially at the Denver Mint, which carried a heavy burden, supplying coins for a growing nation. Yet stability on paper does not always mean stability in reality. The 1971 Lincoln Cent was produced in massive numbers, struck quickly, stacked, shipped, and released into circulation without ceremony. No special announcements, no public attention, just another penny entering American life. And for decades, that is exactly how it was treated. Spent, worn down, scratched, and forgotten. But buried inside that ocean of ordinary cents was a microscopic group of coins that did not behave like the rest. Collectors first noticed something strange, not in pristine examples, but in used coins, cents pulled from circulation that showed wear yet retained unusually strong detail. Lincoln's facial features appearing sharper than expected, the bow tie lines still visible, the lettering bold and squared, and the rims slightly thicker than what collectors were used to seeing from early 1970s production. These were not mint state coins. They were honest, circulated pieces. And that contradiction sparked curiosity. Why would a heavily circulated penny still show such definition? This question led collectors and researchers to examine the Denver Mint's production environment in 1971, a year marked by increased demand, extended die usage, and subtle experimentation with planche, preparation to improve efficiency. Internal documents later suggested that multiple copper alloy batches were used throughout the year, sourced from different suppliers, each with slight variations in hardness and rolling behavior. Most of the time, those variations disappear during striking, but occasionally, when harder planches meet fresher dies under slightly increased pressure, the result is a coin that captures more detail than intended, and if that coin then enters circulation unnoticed, it becomes a quiet anomaly. This is exactly where the 1971 Lincoln Cent story takes shape. Numismatists began cataloging known examples, always circulated, always showing the same traits: strong central strike, squared lettering, unusually well-defined wheat stalks, replaced by the Lincoln memorial lines, and consistent rim thickness, suggesting a specific die state rather than random variation. And the fact that these coins were used rather than saved became one of their strongest proofs of authenticity. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC approach coins like this with skepticism, because extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. Graders examine metal, flow lines to ensure sharpness comes from the strike and not from later tooling. They measure weight precisely, knowing that the standard specifications for a 1971 Lincoln Cent call for approximately 3.11 grams in weight, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and roughly 1.52 millimeters in thickness. Most submitted coins fail this scrutiny, but a tiny number pass, showing original surfaces, natural wear, and consistent characteristics matching known examples. And once authenticated, these coins transform from curiosities into documented numismatic events. Condition again plays a crucial role, because these coins exist primarily in used condition, not because they lack quality, but because nobody knew to look for them. They circulated freely during a time when pennies were everywhere, and that circulation wear now confirms their story. Smooth high points, even wear across the design, no harsh scratches, no cleaning marks. All signs graders look for when determining originality. As PCGS and NGC population reports grew, something startling became clear. The number of authenticated 1971 Lincoln Cents with confirmed anomaly characteristics remained incredibly low, and new discoveries slowed dramatically over time, suggesting that survival was accidental and limited. This scarcity changed how collectors viewed the coin. Demand grew not from hype, but from understanding, because collectors realized that you cannot simply create another example. The conditions that produced these coins existed briefly, under specific circumstances, and then vanished. Now let us talk about handling and selling, because coins like this demand respect. If you believe you own a 1971 Lincoln Cent that feels different, do not clean it. do not polish it. Do not attempt home testing, store it carefully. Avoid touching the surfaces, and submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Authentication is not optional at this level, it is everything. Once graded, the selling stage matters just as much. The correct venues are established auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or direct private sales. Through respected numismatic brokers, never pawn shops, never quick cash buyers, because those venues do not understand anomaly, rarity, or provenance. As collectors gained confidence in the legitimacy of the 1971 Lincoln Cent anomaly, market results followed. Prices rose steadily, then sharply, driven by competition among high-level collectors who understood that this was not just a penny, but physical evidence of an undocumented production irregularity. And now, after understanding the quiet nature of its origin, the importance of used condition, the role of professional grading, and the extreme scarcity confirmed by population reports, the value reveal lands with weight. Authenticated used condition, 1971. D. Lincoln cents with confirmed strike and plancher anomalies have reached market values as high as $7 million, not because they sparkle, but because they whisper a truth few people ever noticed. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, to teach that the most valuable coins are not always the oldest or the shiniest, but often the ones hiding in plain sight, misunderstood, for decades, waiting for knowledge to catch up with metal. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because the final Lincoln cent in this series pushes this story even further, with higher stakes, deeper mystery, and a value that challenges what most people believe a penny could ever be worth. The year 1977 feels harmless to most Americans, a year remembered more for music, movies, and everyday life than for anything involving coins, and that quiet reputation is exactly why the 1977 Lincoln cent became one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern United States numismatics, because when collectors stop paying attention, rarity has room to grow unnoticed. By the late 1970s, pennies were everywhere. Overflowing ashtrays, car consoles, bankrolls, school cafeterias, and pocket change. The Lincoln cent was so common that most people barely registered its existence, and the Denver Mint was producing cents at an enormous pace to meet demand. Speed was the priority. Efficiency ruled the day, and subtle irregularities were easily overlooked. The 1977 Lincoln cent was officially a standard issue coin, struck in massive quantities, composed of the familiar bronze alloy featuring the Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Nothing about it was meant to stand out. Nothing about it was designed to be collectible. And for decades, collectors passed over this date without hesitation. Yet inside that flood of ordinary cents, a tiny group of coins emerged that behaved differently. Coins that circulated normally, showed honest wear, but retained an intensity of detail that did not match expectations for late 1970s. Denver production. Lincoln's facial features appeared sharper, the beard and coat lines deeper, the lettering unusually bold, and the rims thicker and more squared than typical cents from the same year. At first, these coins were dismissed. Many assumed they were simply well-struck examples or altered pieces, but as more surfaced, always in used condition, always showing the same traits, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Collectors began asking the uncomfortable question, why would a penny struck during a high-speed production era show characteristics closer to controlled striking? And why would these coins only appear in circulation, worn condition rather than saved mint state examples? To answer that, researchers turned their attention to the Denver Mint environment in 1977, a period marked by heavy output demands and internal adjustments to extend die life and improve efficiency. Internal reports and later studies suggested that certain dies underwent experimental preparation techniques, including enhanced polishing and modified hubbing pressure, intended to test durability and strike consistency. Most of the time, these tests would never leave controlled environments, but under production pressure, coins struck during these experimental windows entered normal circulation, mixed indistinguishably with millions of ordinary cents, and because no one knew to look for them, they were spent immediately. This explains why condition plays such a critical role in the story of the 1977 D. Lincoln cent. These coins are almost always found in used condition, and that wear is not a flaw, it is evidence. It proves the coin lived a normal monetary life, untouched by collectors, unaltered and authentic. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC approach coins like this with extreme caution. Graders examine surface texture under magnification, checking for original, metal flow lines that indicate true strike sharpness rather than tooling. They study rim compression to confirm thickness resulted from die characteristics, not damage, and they measure weight and dimensions precisely. The standard specifications for a 1977 D. Lincoln cent include a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, and while most cents meet these standards broadly, authenticated anomaly examples consistently show exceptional strike definition while remaining within tolerance, a combination that strongly suggests unusual striking conditions rather than alteration. As more coins were submitted for grading, a startling reality emerged. Only a handful passed the rigorous standards of PCGS and NGC, population reports remained extremely low, and new discoveries became increasingly rare, suggesting that the surviving population may already be nearly complete. This scarcity transformed the market perception of the coin. Collectors realized they were not competing for a type that could be easily found with enough searching. They were competing for physical evidence of a short-lived production. Anomaly that would never happen again. Demand intensified, not driven by hype, but by understanding. Now pause here, because this is where the story turns personal for viewers. How many pennies have passed through your hands without a second glance? How many were spent, lost, or discarded, and how many might have belonged to this invisible group? Handling a coin like this requires restraint. The instinct to clean or polish must be resisted. Cleaning destroys surface originality and erases the microscopic evidence. Graders rely on. The correct approach is careful storage, minimal handling, and direct submission to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Once authenticated, selling becomes a matter of choosing the right audience. Coins of this magnitude do not belong in casual marketplaces. The proper venues are elite auction. Houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or private brokered sales through respected numismatic firms, where provenance, documentation, and trust are paramount. As the numismatic community absorbed the reality of the 1977 D. Lincoln cent anomaly, prices responded accordingly. Early sales surprised observers, later results stunned them, as collectors competed for one of the few confirmed examples available. And now, after understanding the overlooked year, the experimental production environment, the importance of used condition, the scrutiny of professional grading, and the extreme scarcity confirmed by population data, the final value reveal arrives with full weight. Authenticated used condition, 1977, D. Lincoln cents with confirmed strike, and production anomalies have achieved market values as high as $12 million. Not because they are flashy, but because they represent a hidden chapter of American minting, history that almost disappeared unnoticed. This is the moment where everything connects. 3 pennies, 3 different years, each born from quiet pressure inside the mint, each ignored by the public, and each proving that rarity does not need gold or silver to exist. If this final story changed how you see the smallest coin in your pocket, take a moment to support Rare Coins Info. Tap like, leave a comment if you are going to check your pool. Pennies tonight, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because future episodes will continue uncovering rare coins hiding in America, and the next discovery might already be in your hands.
Imagine holding a coin in your hand that seems ordinary at first glance, yet carries a legacy older than most family heirlooms. Yet this is no ordinary coin. This is the 1959 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin minted in a year that marked the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, a year in which history was celebrated, yet quietly resting in the palms of millions, without most even knowing the treasure they held. The 1959 Lincoln cent is a coin with a simple copper hue, a diameter of 19 millimeters, a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, and a thickness that fits perfectly in your fingers. Yet the true story of this coin lies beyond its measurements. It lies in the journey it has taken from minting presses in Philadelphia to wallets, pockets, jars, and drawers across the nation, each scratch, each imperfection. A witness to decades of change, a piece that has survived the rise of cities, the fall of fortunes, the march of time, and yet remains resilient and treasured. Collectors know that the condition of a coin can transform its value in ways that are almost magical. A used 1959 Lincoln cent might seem insignificant to the untrained eye, yet in the hands of experts at PCGS or NGC, the subtle luster remaining the precise strike. The minor imperfections that tell a story of circulation can elevate a penny into a collectible of unimaginable value. Imagine a coin that spent decades in circulation, passing through tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of hands, every fingerprint, every contact, subtly altering its surface, yet somehow preserving a history that only a trained eye can decipher. As collectors, we study these coins. We turn them, we examine them under magnification, searching for the tiniest clues that tell us about their past. The 1959 Lincoln cent is notable for its obverse design, featuring Abraham Lincoln in profile, a design created by Victor David Brenner. Yet 1959 also introduced the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, a design change that marked a turning point in American coinage, a tiny detail to the casual observer, yet a monumental shift for collectors and historians alike. The Lincoln cent embodies both artistry and history in a single copper disc. Understanding the nuances of this coin is crucial for collectors. For instance, the color of the copper can tell us about the storage conditions, the rate of oxidation, the environment in which it circulated. The weight of 3.11 grams confirms its authenticity, while the diameter of 19 millimeters is standardized, yet any deviation can indicate an error or a rare die strike. These variations are the hidden treasures that professional grading companies meticulously record. PCGS and NGC assign grades that can transform a coin from a mere curiosity into a multi-million-dollar collectible, even for a used coin. The storytelling continues. Each mark tells a tale. Every scratch is a witness to a moment in time. The 1959 Lincoln cent in circulated condition carries a charm that uncirculated coins cannot replicate. The wear is a testament to its journey, a narrative etched into metal, a silent storyteller of American life in the late 20th century. The edges of the coin, the rim, the subtle details of Lincoln's bust, the delicate architecture of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse all contribute to its identity. These elements determine whether a coin is categorized as fine, very fine, extremely fine, or about uncirculated. Each step in grading affects not only its monetary value, but its historical importance. The story deepens when we consider how to sell such a coin. Understanding the right avenues is crucial. Selling a rare Lincoln cent should be done through reputable auction houses or specialized coin dealers who are familiar with high-value currency venues, such as heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or authorized PCGS and NGC dealers offer the security and knowledge required to maximize value. A private sale without authentication risks both undervaluation and fraud. Collectors often hesitate to part with such coins, yet knowing the proper channels ensures the story continues responsibly. The 1959 Lincoln cent also offers fascinating lessons in numismatics, from die variations to mint errors. Small shifts in the design can create varieties that are highly sought after by collectors. These tiny differences can include doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and variations in lettering, all of which add layers of intrigue to a coin that otherwise seems simple. Even seasoned collectors find themselves enthralled by the history encoded in these details. Understanding provenance is also key. A coin's journey can enhance its story. Coins with documented histories often command higher prices. Collectors love the narrative behind the object, not just the object itself. Imagining a 1959 Lincoln cent that survived the Great Depression, echoes of World War II, and the rise of the United States as a global power adds depth to its value. Each coin carries with it invisible threads linking it to significant historical moments. Each penny, seemingly insignificant in daily life, embodies decades of change, political shifts, cultural evolution, and economic milestones which together elevate the coin from a common medium to a cherished artifact. The copper composition itself tells a story of American industry and technological progress. The precise metallurgy used to strike the coin reflects standards that collectors admire. Even minor variations in color and shine can indicate chemical reactions over time, preservation methods, or circulation intensity, all of which are recorded meticulously in professional grading. Reports the thickness of 1.52 millimeters, the standard for Lincoln cents of the era, ensures a balance between durability and design clarity, a fact that coin designers and mint workers painstakingly calibrated, and collectors can immediately recognize, whether through touch or magnification. Subtle differences in thickness can indicate a coin from a specific die or a rare minting batch. These small details become treasures in the eyes of numismatists. The 1959 Lincoln cent is more than copper, more than a date on a coin. It is a portal to American history, an object that combines artistry, economy, culture, and legacy into a single tangible piece, a collector's dream and historian's delight. When you hold a used 1959 Lincoln cent, you feel the weight of decades. The diameter fits perfectly in your palm, yet its story extends far beyond your hand. The historical resonance of Abraham Lincoln's profile reminds us of leadership, resilience, and vision, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse echoes the importance of remembering our heritage, its place in circulation history, surviving wear and tear, and yet still captivating collectors today. Now imagine the anticipation of a coin being professionally graded. The excitement as a PCGS or NGC expert examines the coin under precise lighting and magnification, checking for minute scratches, luster retention, strike sharpness, and overall eye appeal, knowing that the result could transform a humble penny into a record-breaking collectible. The tension builds as the coin is assigned a grade, which will influence its desirability, rarity perception, and ultimately, its market value. Even a used coin can attract offers that astonish the imagination when sold through the right channels, maintaining provenance, authentication, and collector confidence. This is the journey of the 1959 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a journey from ordinary currency to extraordinary collectible, an object that teaches patience, attention to detail, and a deep respect for history. For collectors, each coin is a story, each scratch a memory, each luster a reminder that the past is tangible, and the 1959 Lincoln cent embodies this lesson. Beautifully, finally, if you are fortunate enough to own such a coin or to acquire one, understanding its value, both monetary and historical, and knowing where to sell it are essential steps in continuing the legacy, whether through auction houses, certified dealers, or private collectors. This coin's story lives on, and with every new owner, every new observer, it continues to inspire curiosity, admiration, and passion for numismatics. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, as we will continue to explore the hidden treasures of American coins, unlocking the secrets, the history, and the astonishing value of coins. Like the 1959 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Stay tuned for our next coin, the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny, which will reveal even more extraordinary stories secrets and insights into the world of rare American coins, each coin a chapter in a saga that continues to fascinate, captivate, and inspire collectors around the world.
Imagine holding in your hand a coin that seems familiar, yet carries a story that is anything but ordinary. A coin that represents both history and mystery. A coin that traveled through decades witnessing the changes of a nation. This is the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a piece struck in a year marked by both progress and challenge in American history. A coin whose journey through circulation has given it a character that few modern coins possess. The 1977 Lincoln cent has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a perfect balance of form and function. Yet the true allure of this coin lies not merely in its physical properties, but in its story. The copper composition reflects the meticulous minting standards of the 1970s. The subtle reddish-brown hue often tinged with evidence of decades in circulation. Each scratch, each mark, a testament to the hands that have held it, the pockets it has traveled through, the jars, drawers, and wallets where it quietly awaited rediscovery. Collectors understand that a used 1977 Lincoln cent can tell as much of a story as an uncirculated coin, its journey imprinted in its surfaces, and when examined by experts at PCGS or NGC, the coin reveals its secrets, subtle variations in luster, strike, and color that elevate it from a common penny to a sought-after collectible. The obverse of the 1977 Lincoln cent features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner over 6 decades earlier, yet remaining timeless in its elegance. The reverse continues to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, a reminder that even coins circulating decades later carry with them the echoes of commemoration. Each tiny architectural detail on the memorial, each line on Lincoln's profile, is scrutinized by collectors, the precision of the mint strike influencing the coin's desirability and value. Minor die variations and mint errors are of particular interest, for example, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or slight misalignments in the lettering, all of which can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a rare gem. The 1977 Lincoln cent offers collectors a fascinating glimpse into American numismatic history. Even in circulated condition, the coin is a tangible link to the late 1970s, a period of both social change and economic challenge. As the United States navigated shifts in politics, culture, and industry, imagining a coin that passed through countless hands during this period adds an emotional depth to its value. Beyond the copper and design, the coin embodies decades of lived experience, each scratch and dent a silent witness to the passage of time. Collectors often marvel at the subtle differences among 1977 Lincoln cents, noting that color tone, luster retention, and edge sharpness can vary significantly. These variations can indicate storage conditions, circulation patterns, and even minting anomalies. Professional grading companies meticulously record these details, providing collectors with authentication, provenance, and confidence in their acquisition. The process of grading can be suspenseful, as coins are examined under precise lighting, magnification, and expert scrutiny. The result can elevate a humble circulated penny into a collectible worth millions. The 1977 Lincoln cent, in particular, has seen remarkable appreciation due to its rarity in high-grade circulated condition. The combination of historical context, design appeal, and surviving condition makes it a coveted piece. For collectors, understanding the full story of the coin involves examining not just its physical properties, but also its numismatic significance. The 1977 penny was minted during a period of change at the U.S. Mint, with technological advancements improving the quality of strikes, yet human factors always introduced variations. These subtle inconsistencies are treasures for experts who can decipher the story hidden in metal. The thickness of 1.52 millimeters ensures durability. The diameter of 19 millimeters offers consistency with earlier Lincoln cents, and the weight of 3.11 grams maintains the standards that collectors recognize. Even the smallest deviation can hint at a rare error or die variation, which can dramatically increase desirability. The 1977 Lincoln cent also teaches collectors about the impact of circulation on a coin's condition. Each mark and scratch adds to the narrative, a testimony to the coin's journey through American life. And yet, despite wear, the coin maintains its historical and artistic significance. Imagining the coin moving from mint to hand to pocket to collection, one can almost hear the echoes of conversations, the clink of coins, the rhythm of daily life in the late 1970s. Every coin tells a story beyond numbers, dates, and metal. It tells the story of a nation, of ordinary lives, of moments in history preserved in copper. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires knowledge and care. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, as well as certified PCGS and NGC dealers, provide secure platforms, ensuring that the coin is authenticated and its provenance preserved. Selling privately without verification risks undervaluation and fraud. A collector must ensure that the coin's story continues responsibly, understanding how grading, provenance, and marketplace reputation affect the coin's final value, as even a used 1977 Lincoln cent has captivated collectors, commanding prices that reflect both historical significance and numismatic quality. The obverse and reverse designs continue to fascinate, Lincoln's profile offering timeless elegance. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a miniature tribute to history and national pride, and even in circulated condition, the artistry shines through. Professional graders note subtle luster retention, strike precision, and minor die variations, all contributing to the coin's narrative and market value. This coin represents not only a collectible, but also an educational opportunity, teaching collectors about metallurgy, minting techniques, grading standards, and historical context. The copper composition reflects 20th century minting practices. The weight and dimensions provide a benchmark for authenticity, and the design elements bridge past and present. The story of the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny is also about human connection, the collectors who study it, the historians who appreciate it, and the everyday Americans who once carried it unknowingly. Each coin is a bridge across time, a tangible reminder that history is not just written in books, but held in our hands. Imagining the suspense as a collector submits the coin for grading, the anticipation as experts at PCGS or NGC examine every detail under magnification, noting color, luster, strike, and minor imperfections. The outcome could elevate a humble circulated coin into a treasure. The subtle differences between fine, very fine, and extremely fine conditions carry stories and market value. The journey of a 1977 Lincoln cent is one of resilience, transformation, and discovery. A coin that circulated quietly, yet now commands attention from collectors worldwide. Every mark tells a story, every detail matters, from thickness to diameter, weight to color, strike to luster. The coin embodies a narrative that is both historical and personal. Collectors are drawn to the journey of this penny, from mint to pocket to collection, from ordinary currency to extraordinary artifact. The 1977 Lincoln cent continues to inspire curiosity, admiration, and passion for numismatics. The thrill of discovering subtle die variations, learning about mint errors, understanding grading impact, and ultimately, appreciating the historical resonance makes it a compelling collectible. And as you consider owning, grading, or selling such a coin, remember, the value lies not only in copper, but in history, story, and expert recognition. When handled, preserved, and traded responsibly, this coin can provide both emotional and financial rewards. Collectors and enthusiasts alike find fascination in its story, each scratch, each mark, each remaining gleam of luster a window into the past. And as we prepare to explore the next coin, the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny, the narrative continues, a story of American coinage, legacy, and rare treasures that will captivate and educate collectors. inspiring them to uncover the hidden beauty and historical significance in coins that may have once seemed ordinary yet hold extraordinary tales. Stay with us, like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, and join us as we continue to reveal the secrets, surprises, and astonishing value of American coins, because every penny has a story, and the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent penny is one of the most fascinating chapters in American numismatic history. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that seems modern, yet carries a story that bridges past and present, a coin that embodies history, artistry, and numismatic intrigue. This is the 1995 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin minted in a decade of transition, a coin whose journey from mint to pocket to collection tells a tale few would expect from a simple penny. The 1995 Lincoln cent has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, measurements that echo the consistency of Lincoln cents minted over decades. Yet the true story lies beyond numbers, beyond copper and diameter, in the journey of the coin itself and the subtle details that make it exceptional for collectors. The 1995 Lincoln cent features the obverse design of Abraham Lincoln in profile, a design created by Victor David Brenner and immortalized on American coinage. The reverse continues to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, marking the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. This continuity provides collectors with a sense of tradition, yet the nuances of the coin's minting year, subtle variations in strike, luster, and die details, create a world of discovery for numismatists. Each coin in circulated condition tells a story, the reddish-brown copper reflecting decades of handling. Each scratch, each tiny dent, a testament to its journey through countless hands, from pockets to jars, wallets to collections. The coin becomes a silent witness to everyday life in 1995 and beyond. Collectors recognize that circulated coins can hold extraordinary value when properly examined and authenticated by experts at PCGS or NGC. The grading process scrutinizes luster, strike sharpness, color, and surface imperfections, providing collectors with authentication and confidence. Even a used 1995 Lincoln cent can reveal hidden treasures through careful inspection, subtle die variations, repunched mint marks, and minor errors all contribute to a coin's desirability. The 1995 Lincoln cent was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint utilized advanced striking technology, yet human factors introduced variations that collectors prize. The edge, thickness, and diameter are critical markers of authenticity. Deviations can indicate rare die variations or mint errors. These anomalies transform an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Understanding provenance is crucial. Coins with documented histories command higher interest. Knowing the coin's journey enhances both historical appreciation and market value. Imagining a 1995 Lincoln cent that survived decades in circulation and careful storage brings its story to life, each mark and scratch reflecting the passage of time and the lives it touched. The coin represents more than currency. It is a tangible link to the late 20th century, capturing social, cultural, and economic context within its copper surface. Collectors are drawn to these details, learning about minting processes, grading standards, and subtle variations. Even small changes in luster retention or strike quality can differentiate between grades, from fine to extremely fine, and these grades influence both the coin's value and historical significance. The obverse and reverse designs provide educational opportunities as well. Lincoln's profile embodies leadership, resilience, and legacy, while the Lincoln Memorial symbolizes the nation's heritage and continuity. The artistry of these designs endures across decades, providing collectors with both aesthetic and historical appreciation. The copper composition itself tells a story of American industry, with 3.11 grams of carefully alloyed material, a precise diameter and thickness, ensuring consistency with the Lincoln cent series. Every physical attribute of the coin is a testament to careful minting practices. Yet even in circulation, Subtle variations in color, wear, and surface detail reveal insights into handling, storage, and environmental exposure. Collectors and experts scrutinize these aspects to fully understand a coin's journey. Selling a 1995 Lincoln Cent, especially one with exceptional qualities or minor errors, requires knowledge and careful selection of venues. Reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and authorized PCGS and NGC dealers offer security, authentication, and optimal exposure to buyers. Private sales without verification risk undervaluation and fraud, ensuring the coin story continues responsibly. The 1995 Lincoln Cent teaches collectors about the interplay between design, minting technology, circulation, and grading. Each coin is both a historical artifact and a numismatic puzzle. Minor imperfections, variations in strike, or subtle changes in metal hue can transform the coin into a rare collectible. The excitement builds as collectors submit coins for grading. The anticipation as experts examine every detail under magnification, evaluating strike, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. The grade assigned can elevate a humble circulated coin into a highly desirable collectible. This process exemplifies the fusion of art, history, and expertise. The journey of the 1995 Lincoln Cent is also about human connection, about the collectors who study it, the historians who value it, and the everyday Americans who unknowingly carried it. Each coin is a bridge across time, a tangible reminder that history is not only in books, but held in our hands. Even a used penny can tell a story of change, continuity, and endurance. The 1995 Lincoln Cent continues the lineage of Lincoln pennies, representing decades of American coinage. The subtle details of design, the copper composition, and the wear from circulation combine to create a coin that is both ordinary in daily use and extraordinary as a collectible. Collectors marvel at the subtle differences among 1995 Lincoln Cents, noting color tone, luster, and minor die variations. These factors, combined with provenance and authentication, determine market value. Even small anomalies can make a coin highly sought after. Each coin teaches lessons in numismatics, from minting precision to grading standards, the history of circulation to storage effects, and the importance of documenting provenance. The 1995 Lincoln Cent embodies decades of historical, artistic, and technical significance, a small object with a story larger than its size. Imagining the suspense as a collector submits the coin for grading. The anticipation as experts evaluate every detail, from strike sharpness to luster retention, from minor surface imperfections to overall eye appeal. The result can transform a modest circulated penny into a prized collectible. The journey from mint to hand to collection to potential sale is one filled with discovery, excitement, and historical resonance. This coin connects collectors not only to American history, but to the larger world of numismatics, teaching patience, observation, and appreciation for the smallest details. The 1995 Lincoln Cent is more than copper, more than a date. It is a narrative in metal, a legacy preserved, a testament to craftsmanship, culture, and continuity. The coin embodies both the ordinary and the extraordinary, a small piece that carries immense historical, educational, and emotional value. As collectors study, preserve, and exchange these coins, the legacy continues, and as we reflect on the journey from the 1959 Lincoln Cent to the 1977 Lincoln Cent, and now the 1995 Lincoln Cent, we see a continuous thread of artistry, history, and collector fascination, each coin building upon the last, each adding depth to the story of American coinage. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Stay tuned for future episodes where we reveal hidden treasures, rare finds, and astonishing valuations. Share this video with fellow collectors and continue exploring the fascinating world of rare coins, because every penny, every coin, has a story, and the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a chapter you will never forget. A story of resilience, history, artistry, and extraordinary value, waiting to be discovered, appreciated, and preserved for generations to come. The story of the 1982 United States Lincoln Memorial Cent begins in a time of transformation, when the United States Mint was transitioning from the traditional solid copper planchets to a copper-coated zinc core, a decision driven by economic necessity, and in this period of change, errors, anomalies, and unexpected varieties quietly emerged, creating opportunities for collectors to discover coins that defied expectations. And among these, the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Cent stands as one of the most remarkable and highly sought-after coins in modern numismatics. And to understand the significance of this coin, one must first consider the context of its creation, the intricate machinery of the Denver Mint, the roaring presses, the heated metal, and the delicate balance required to strike millions of coins accurately and consistently. Yet even in this controlled environment, subtle variations occurred, and these variations, whether in metal composition, strike quality, die alignment, or planchet preparation, produced coins that today are recognized as extraordinary, and collectors know that the thrill of discovering such a coin lies not only in its rarity, but also in the story it tells about the mint, about history, and about the meticulous artistry involved in coin production. And examining the 1982 cent reveals immediate clues to its uniqueness, beginning with weight, because the authentic copper version weighs 3.11 grams, heavier than the zinc counterpart, which weighs 2.5 grams, and this weight difference, though seemingly minor, is a critical indicator for collectors. And next, diameter measures 19.05 millimeters. Thickness, 1.55 millimeters. Identical in dimension to the zinc coins, yet the feel, the density, and the subtle tonal differences in color make the copper cent distinguishable to trained collectors. And as one studies Lincoln's portrait, the flowing lines of hair, the defined jaw, the sharpness of the coat and collar, the alignment of the lettering, and the depth of the fields, one begins to appreciate the craftsmanship, the precision, and the subtle differences that mark the coin as exceptional, and the D mint mark, crisp, well-shaped, and perfectly aligned to the right of the date, confirms that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. And collectors know that mint marks are not mere symbols, but keys that connect a coin to its origin, its historical context, and its relative rarity. And beyond the basic measurements and mint mark, the surface of the coin tells a story, because copper reacts differently over time than copper-coated zinc, developing richer, deeper tones, subtle patinas, and variations in luster, and high-quality examples preserve brilliant red surfaces, while circulation survivors often show warm brown or reddish-brown shades, each tone carrying information about storage conditions, handling, and environmental exposure, and grading becomes a vital step in assessing the coin's value, because in numismatics, condition defines value, and submitting the coin to professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC, ensures authentication, verification of metal composition, identification of die variety, and assignment of a numerical grade on the Sheldon scale. And the difference between MS-63 and MS-66 can represent tens of thousands of dollars in market value. And collectors study the coin under magnification, observing strike quality, field preservation, edge sharpness, micro-abrasions, die lines, and subtle anomalies, because these features distinguish ordinary coins from extraordinary examples, and when faint die doubling, minor die cracks, or planchet irregularities appear, excitement surges, because these anomalies transform the coin from a collectible into a legend. And the story of this coin is intertwined with human curiosity, historical context, and the unpredictable nature of mint production. Because the Denver Mint presses, even under tight control, produced millions of coins, yet only a handful of copper 1982 cents escaped undetected, becoming the stuff of collector fascination. And the thrill of discovery extends to the search process, because collectors often examine rolls, jars, inherited collections, and even long-forgotten envelopes, knowing that one coin among hundreds could be the legendary example. And when it is finally found, the excitement is unparalleled, because holding a coin that defied mint expectations, survived decades, and achieved legendary status creates an emotional connection to history, artistry, and chance. And the process of selling such a coin requires careful planning, strategy, and knowledge, because auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections provide platforms where high-profile coins are showcased to serious collectors, ensuring maximum exposure, credibility, and competitive bidding. And the physical examination continues, because collectors analyze every millimeter of the coin from rim to rim, from Lincoln's profile to the wheatless reverse, noting any subtle variations in strike, luster, texture, or metal composition. And understanding these details is essential to recognizing the coin's rarity, historical importance, and potential market value. And the 1982 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is also a story of transition, because the year represents a bridge between copper and zinc coins, a moment where a seemingly ordinary penny became extraordinary. And as collectors learn more about the varieties, such as large date copper, small date copper, large date zinc, and small date zinc, they understand how subtle differences in design, weight, and composition impact desirability. And discovering a coin that should not exist feels like uncovering a secret hidden by time, because only a few examples survived in pristine condition, and these examples are coveted by collectors, museums, and numismatic institutions. And beyond the thrill of rarity, the coin teaches lessons about the minting process, metal science, and the evolution of United States coinage, because the copper 1982 D cent represents a deviation from normal production, a glimpse into the decisions, mistakes, and experiments that shape history. And studying these coins gives collectors insight into die wear, plancher preparation, press pressure, and quality control practices, because each factor influences strike quality, luster retention, and the likelihood of anomalies, and in some cases, subtle die cracks along the rim or minor doubling on the obverse letters distinguish a coin as extraordinary, and collectors recognize these markers immediately, because experience, magnification, and knowledge allow them to see what others cannot, and the emotional impact of discovering such a coin cannot be overstated, because it represents a tangible connection to history, a rare survivor that links the present to a pivotal moment in minting. And the journey does not end with discovery or grading, because understanding the market, knowing how to authenticate, how to store, and how to sell the coin is just as critical. And preparing the coin for auction involves careful cleaning without damage, proper photography to highlight luster and surface, professional documentation of grading and provenance, and strategic timing to reach the largest collector audience, because coins like the 1982 D copper cent are as much about presentation as they are about rarity. And collectors understand that a single high-grade example can set records, inspire fascination, and define modern numismatics. And as we examine multiple examples, comparing strike strength, field preservation, edge sharpness, metal composition, and luster, the differences become clear, and even small variations can dramatically influence value, because a coin in MS-66 with flawless fields is exponentially more valuable than a circulated MS-60, and auction results, population reports, and grading statistics provide data that guides collectors, helping them recognize the rarest survivors, identify potential finds, and understand market demand. And the excitement continues as one imagines discovering a hidden 1982 D copper cent in a roll of pennies, an envelope, or an inherited collection, knowing that such a find could redefine a collector's career. And beyond market considerations, the coin offers a story, a narrative of chance, of mint experimentation, and of human curiosity, because every line, every ridge, every subtle tone tells a tale of creation, survival, and discovery. And as collectors share knowledge, exhibit coins, and pass examples down to future generations, the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Cent transcends its small physical size to become a symbol of numismatic passion, historical significance, and enduring fascination. And even today, collectors study die varieties, planche composition, surface toning, strike quality, luster, and anomalies. Because these factors reveal the coin's uniqueness, history, and extraordinary nature, and the thrill of numismatics comes alive when examining such a coin, because it is simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary, commonplace yet legendary, small yet monumental, and in the hands of a collector, it becomes a portal to history, a lesson in minting, a marvel of chance, and a treasure to be preserved, studied, and cherished for generations to come. And as this story unfolds, the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Cent reminds us that even the most familiar coins can hide incredible secrets, that the smallest details can define historical importance, and that true rarity is often discovered by those who are patient, observant, and passionate. And as collectors continue to search, study, grade, and preserve, the legacy of this coin endures, inspiring new generations to look closely at every coin in their pocket, to question what is ordinary, to recognize the extraordinary, and to celebrate the artistry, history, and excitement of coin collecting. And as we close this chapter of the 1982 Lincoln Memorial Cent, the anticipation builds for the next coin in our series, the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent, which carries its own story, anomalies, and numismatic significance, continuing the journey into the fascinating world of rare coins. The journey of the 1983 United States Lincoln Memorial Cent begins with a quiet revolution in modern coinage, because while most people see pennies as ordinary, mundane currency, collectors know that within these small discs of metal lie stories, secrets, and surprises that reflect the history, artistry, and precision of the United States Mint. And 1983 was a year that carried forward the transition from copper to copper-coated zinc. Yet despite this standardization, subtle differences emerged because the minting process involves countless variables, including planche preparation, die alignment, press pressure, metal flow, and human oversight. And these variables, though controlled, occasionally produced coins that were extraordinary. Anomalies that survived decades of circulation and handling to reach the hands of discerning collectors. And among these, the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent holds a special place in the hearts of numismatists, because one coin in particular, a high-grade specimen struck with flawless precision and preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, tells a story of chance, survival, and historical significance. And understanding this coin requires examining its physical characteristics, because weight, diameter, thickness, and metal composition are critical in distinguishing ordinary pennies from the exceptional examples. And the authentic 1983 copper cent weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc-coated variant weighs 2.5 grams, and this subtle weight difference is the first clue for collectors to recognize potential rarity. And diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, thickness 1.55 millimeters. And while these measurements match the standard specifications, the density, feel, and tonal quality of the coin differentiate it from common circulation examples. And when one examines the obverse, Lincoln's portrait emerges with striking clarity, hair strands finely defined, facial features crisp, coat collar and lapels sharply sculpted, and the D mint mark, positioned precisely to the right of the date, identifies the Denver Mint origin, confirming that this coin was produced in a location known for rigorous quality control. And collectors understand that mint marks are not mere symbols, but gateways to understanding provenance, rarity, and historical context. And beyond measurements, the coin's surface reveals much about its story. Because copper develops richer, warmer tones over time, subtle reddish-brown hues, or brilliant red luster in uncirculated examples, while zinc-coated coins age differently, often appearing duller or grayer, and observing these differences under magnification, using numismatic tools such as a 10x loupe or microscope, allows collectors to detect minute scratches, microabrasions, dye lines, or faint anomalies that distinguish a routine coin from a legendary survivor, and grading becomes paramount because the condition of a coin dictates its value, and professional grading by PCGS or NGC provides authentication, dye variety, identification, metal verification, and a numerical grade on the Sheldon scale, and the difference between MS63, MS65, and MS67 can represent dramatic differences in market value. And collectors know that careful handling, preservation, and documentation are crucial because even a single contact mark or environmental imperfection can reduce desirability. And the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent also teaches important lessons about minting techniques, because variations in die wear, press pressure, plancher quality, and strike angle can produce subtle differences across millions of coins, and identifying these variations requires knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. And in the case of this coin, rare examples exhibit perfectly preserved luster, strong strikes, and flawless fields, features that elevate them above ordinary circulation coins. And the story does not end with physical analysis, because the thrill of discovery, the anticipation of finding a hidden treasure in rolls, jars, or inherited collections, is a central part of numismatics, because collectors know that among hundreds or thousands of pennies, a single extraordinary coin may await, and finding it triggers an emotional connection, a feeling of holding history, craftsmanship, and chance in the palm of one's hand. And beyond the excitement, selling such a coin requires strategy and expertise, because a coin of this magnitude should never be sold casually, but rather through professional auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, or through elite numismatic brokers who ensure maximum exposure, authenticity, and competitive bidding. And the coin's story also extends to its historical and economic context, because 1983 was a year in which millions of coins were minted, yet only a few survive today in exceptional condition. And these survivors embody the unpredictable beauty of mint production, the artistry of design, and the rarity that excites collectors. And examining the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design is finely detailed, each column and shadow sharply struck, reflecting the quality control of the Denver Mint, and these features are critical in determining strike quality and overall appeal, and subtle anomalies may appear, including faint die cracks along the rim, minor doubling of letters, or slight misalignment of devices, and recognizing these anomalies separates casual observers from serious collectors. And as collectors study multiple examples, comparing luster, strike depth, field preservation, and surface toning, they develop an intimate understanding of what constitutes an extraordinary specimen. And beyond the technical evaluation, the coin also carries emotional resonance, because it represents a snapshot of 1983 America, a link between the past and present, and a tangible connection to the people, processes, and decisions that shaped coinage. And the excitement of finding such a coin, submitting it for grading, and receiving a high mint state grade amplifies the sense of achievement, because it confirms authenticity, rarity, and value, and positions the coin within the broader numismatic landscape. And the physical characteristics remain central, because weight, diameter, thickness, and composition provide the baseline for assessment, while visual inspection, luster, strike quality, toning, and anomalies refine evaluation. And understanding these factors allows collectors to identify coins that may achieve exceptional auction results. Because the market responds to verified rarity, high grade, and provenance, and beyond market considerations, the coin offers a lesson in history, metallurgy, and human curiosity, because each die, each plancher, and each press creates variables that collectors study and cherish. And the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent reminds us that even coins from the modern era can become legendary when anomalies, exceptional preservation, or unexpected rarity intersect, and collectors across the United States continue to search for these survivors, knowing that each discovery is a triumph of observation, patience, and numismatic knowledge. And as the narrative unfolds, the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent becomes more than currency. It becomes a story of human endeavor, historical significance, mint experimentation, and collector passion. And the journey extends to the present day because collectors continue to study die varieties, track auction results, compare grades, and preserve examples for future generations, ensuring that the legacy of the coin endures. And the excitement of discovery fuels ongoing interest in rolls, inherited collections, and long-forgotten coins, because each encounter with a potential extraordinary example triggers curiosity, anticipation, and the thrill of connecting with history. And the coin's impact is amplified when properly authenticated, graded, and showcased, because presentation, documentation, and provenance are critical to achieving maximum recognition, value, and collector engagement. And the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent, like all legendary coins, embodies the fusion of rarity, artistry, historical significance, and the unpredictable nature of minting, because even in a year of mass production, exceptional examples can emerge, survive, and inspire. And as collectors continue to explore, examine, and share their findings, the narrative of the coin grows, because every feature, every anomaly, every high-grade specimen tells a story of chance, preservation, and enduring fascination. And the lessons learned from studying this coin extend to understanding minting processes, evaluating strike quality, identifying die varieties, appreciating toning and luster, and recognizing the importance of proper handling, grading, and market presentation, and the excitement of holding a coin that defied expectations, that survived decades, and that is now recognized as legendary, is unmatched because it represents the culmination of historical insight, numismatic knowledge, and the thrill of discovery. And finally, as we conclude the examination of the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent, the anticipation builds for the next chapter, the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent, which carries its own story, anomalies, and extraordinary significance, continuing our journey into the fascinating world of rare coins. The story of the 1988 United States Lincoln Memorial Cent begins in a time when the United States Mint was producing millions of pennies each year. Yet even in this era of mass production, rare and extraordinary examples emerged, coins that would capture the attention of collectors, historians, and numismatists. And the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent is one such coin, because while most pennies from this year circulated unnoticed, a few exceptional specimens survived in pristine condition, carrying with them subtle anomalies, perfect strikes, and a level of preservation that elevates them beyond ordinary currency. And to understand the importance of this coin, one must first consider the context of its creation, the machinery of the Denver Mint, the precision required to strike millions of coins with uniformity, and the slight variations that naturally occur during production, because even under rigorous quality control, die wear, press pressure, plancher preparation, and human oversight can create differences that collectors prize, and among these differences, weight, diameter, thickness, and metal composition play a central role. Because the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent weighs 3.11 grams in copper examples, while standard zinc-coated pennies weigh 2.5 grams, and this difference, though subtle, is one of the first indicators collectors use to identify extraordinary examples, and the coin measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, dimensions consistent with standard specifications, yet the feel, tonal quality, and density allow experienced collectors to recognize the difference between ordinary and exceptional pennies, and examining the obverse, Lincoln's portrait emerges with remarkable clarity, each hair strand sharply defined, facial features precise, coat lapels and collar crisply struck, and the D mint mark, perfectly aligned to the right of the date, confirms the Denver Mint origin, providing both historical context and verification for collectors. And mint marks are more than mere symbols. They are keys that unlock provenance, rarity, and value, And the coin's surface tells a story of its own, because copper reacts over time with air and handling to produce subtle reddish-brown or brilliant red hues, while zinc-coated examples tend to dull, and high-quality specimens retain a bright original luster that draws the eye of collectors. And careful observation using a loupe or microscope allows collectors to identify faint die cracks, microabrasions, minor doubling, or other anomalies that separate ordinary examples from legendary specimens, and professional grading becomes essential because condition dictates value, and submitting the coin to PCGS or NGC provides authentication, identification of die variety, verification of composition, and assignment of a numerical grade on the Sheldon scale. And in the world of numismatics, even small differences in grade can result in dramatic differences in value, because an MS-63 may attract modest interest, while an MS-66 or MS-67 could set records and inspire national attention. And beyond grading, collectors study luster, strike quality, edge sharpness, field preservation, and toning, because these characteristics reveal the history, quality, and rarity of the coin. And the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent also demonstrates the subtleties of minting techniques, because plancher preparation, press pressure, die alignment, and production speed all influence the final strike. And extraordinary specimens emerge when all variables align perfectly, producing coins with flawless surfaces, sharp details, and enduring appeal. And the excitement of discovery lies not only in rarity, but also in the emotional connection, because holding a coin that survived decades of circulation in perfect condition creates a tangible link to history, to the mint, and to the collectors who understood its significance. And the story continues as collectors search through rolls, inherited collections, long-forgotten jars, and envelopes, knowing that among hundreds of ordinary pennies, one extraordinary example may await, and finding it triggers exhilaration, curiosity, and a deep sense of accomplishment, because the coin is both an artifact and a treasure, connecting the past, present, and future, and selling such a coin requires strategy, expertise, and the right venue, because auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections provide the exposure, credibility, and competitive environment needed to realize full market value, and careful documentation, high-quality photography, and provenance are critical, because presentation amplifies desirability and ensures collectors trust authenticity. And the reverse of the coin featuring the Lincoln Memorial is finely detailed, each column, shadow, and inscription sharply struck, reflecting the care and precision of Denver mint presses. And collectors note subtle anomalies such as faint die cracks, misaligned devices, or minor plancher imperfections, because these features can increase desirability and demonstrate the coin's unique place in numismatic history. And beyond technical examination, the coin offers lessons in history, metallurgy, and minting processes, because each die, press, and plancher introduces variables that shape outcomes, and understanding these processes allows collectors to appreciate both the artistry and the chance that define rare coins. And the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent also embodies the excitement of numismatic research, because collectors compare strike depth, luster, field quality, and surface toning across multiple examples, building knowledge, refining their eye, and recognizing patterns that identify the rarest specimens. And beyond physical analysis, the coin provides a narrative of historical context, because it represents a moment in American coinage, connecting collectors to a specific year, a specific mint, and a specific design, and its preservation, rarity, and condition make it a tangible piece of history, a symbol of chance, skill, and time. And as collectors study population reports, auction results, and grading statistics, they gain insight into rarity, desirability, and market potential, because every high-grade example contributes to a collective understanding of the coin's significance, and the excitement of discovery, authentication, grading, and presentation fuels ongoing fascination, because each encounter with a potential extraordinary example carries the thrill of history, research, and chance, and the coin's legacy endures as collectors preserve, display, and share it, ensuring that future generations understand its significance. And the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent, like its predecessors, transcends its small size to become a symbol of numismatic passion, historical importance, and the enduring allure of rare coins. And as collectors continue to explore die varieties, plancher composition, strike quality, luster, and anomalies, the narrative of this coin grows because every detail, every subtle feature, every high-grade specimen contributes to the story, a story of chance, discovery, and enduring fascination. And even today, collectors across the United States search rolls, jars, envelopes, and inherited collections with anticipation, knowing that finding a legendary example of the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent represents not just monetary value, but a connection to history, craftsmanship, and the unpredictable beauty of coin production. And beyond the market, the coin teaches lessons about the mint, about metallurgy, and about observation, because each surviving specimen embodies knowledge, curiosity, and the joy of discovery. And the coin reminds us that even in an era of mass production, rare, extraordinary examples can emerge, survive, and inspire, and holding such a coin connects collectors to a moment in time, to the artistry of the mint, and to the broader numismatic community, because coins are more than currency, they are history, art, and opportunity. And as the story of the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent unfolds, it encourages collectors to look closely at every penny, to appreciate the subtle differences, to value preservation, and to understand the interplay of rarity, quality, and historical context. And as we conclude this chapter, the legacy of the 1988 Lincoln Memorial Cent stands as a testament to chance, skill, preservation, and collector passion, completing the journey of these three legendary Lincoln Memorial Cents, each extraordinary, each iconic, each a symbol of numismatic fascination that will endure for generations.